For 3,000 years there had been peace. No warships in the sky, no battles fought across the stars. The galaxy had grown silent, calm, and almost too quiet. Humanity had lived in this peace for so long that the younger generations believed war was only a story from the past. They thought conflict was nothing more than an old myth told by the elders to remind them of darker times. But the truth was different. Beneath the surface of peace, beneath the calm of 3,000 years, there were secrets that no one spoke of. Humanity had not forgotten war. Humanity had only waited. The story began when the alien fleets came. No one had seen them before. They were not friends, not traders, not travelers. They came like storms in the dark sky. Hundreds of massive ships appeared on the edge of human space. They carried weapons that glowed red like burning suns. Their voices echoed through the galaxy with a single demand. They called for humanity to surrender. They called for humanity to prepare for war. At first, the other races in the galaxy trembled. For 3,000 years there had been no war. Who could resist such a demand? The aliens were confident, arrogant, sure of their strength. They believed peace had made humanity weak, soft, and unprepared. To them, humans were nothing more than a species grown lazy in safety. The aliens spoke with laughter and with cruelty. They expected fear. They expected begging. But the humans did not cry out. They did not tremble. They did not beg. The leaders of humanity sat in silence when the message came. Their faces did not show fear. Their voices did not shake. And then something strange happened. Across the halls of government, across the great fleets that drifted silent in the void, across the colonies spread through the stars, humanity laughed. It was not the laughter of madness. It was not the laughter of joy. It was cold, sharp, and dangerous. It was the kind of laughter that made the galaxy pause. Why would humans laugh at such a demand? What secret did they hold in their silence? The aliens did not understand. They thought peace had erased memory. They thought 3,000 years without war meant 3,000 years without strength. They did not know the truth. They did not know what humanity kept hidden in the dark. The galaxy watched. Some believed the humans had gone insane. Some whispered that perhaps humans had a weapon no one had ever seen. Others wondered if this was the end of peace for every race, not just for Earth. The suspense grew. Every world, every station, every colony waited to see what the humans would do next. Would they bend their knees and surrender? Or would they fight a war they could not win? The aliens did not wait for an answer. Their fleets moved closer, burning across the stars. Their voices thundered with mockery. They spoke of the weakness of mankind, of the foolishness of those who laughed in the face of doom. And still, the humans did not explain their smile. Still, they did not reveal their secret. The truth was simple but terrible. Humanity had not forgotten war. They had survived wars older than memory itself. They had fought on Earth when the skies burned with fire and the seas ran red. They had fought across their own worlds before the stars were even reached. The record of 3,000 years of peace was not weakness. It was only patience. The beast inside humanity had never died. It had only been sleeping, waiting for someone foolish enough to wake it. The hook was in that silence, in that smile, in that laughter. It was not what the aliens expected. It was not what the galaxy expected. For 3,000 years humanity had given peace. But now, as the first alien ships entered human space, that peace was about to end. The stars themselves seemed to wait for what was coming. And in that moment, as the alien armada prepared to strike, the humans whispered a promise to themselves, a promise that echoed across every colony and every ship. It was a promise that chilled even the bravest hearts. The promise was this: if they want war, we will give them war. And the galaxy will remember us not for peace but for power. The laughter of humanity still echoed in the chambers of power when the alien fleets moved closer. They came like shadows stretching across the stars, their numbers endless, their weapons glowing with the fire of destruction. The galaxy watched in silence as the sky filled with their ships, each one shaped for war, each one ready to burn entire worlds if their demand was not obeyed. The alien leaders spoke again, their voices carried through every channel, every signal, every transmission. Their words were sharp, filled with arrogance. They told humanity to kneel. They told humanity that 3,000 years of peace had made them soft. They called humans children who played at being strong, but who no longer remembered how to fight. They mocked the laughter that humans had given them. They promised that soon the only sound from Earth would be silence. The galaxy listened and believed the aliens. For who could stand against such power? The fleets of the invaders stretched further than the eye could see. Their cannons could shatter moons. Their engines burned brighter than suns, and their armies were countless. Every world, every race, every colony whispered the same thing. Humanity was doomed. But still the humans did not move with fear. Their leaders sat calm in their halls. Their soldiers stood silent in their stations. Their fleets remained hidden in the black void. The laughter was gone now, but the silence that replaced it was even more unsettling. It was the silence of people who knew something that others did not. The aliens grew angry. They wanted to see panic. They wanted to see fear. Instead, they saw humans speaking in steady voices, their eyes sharp, their movements careful. They saw no begging, no surrender, no shaking hands. And in that moment, for the first time, the aliens felt a touch of something they had not expected. Uncertainty. They moved closer, crossing into human space. Their fleets cut across colonies, their weapons ready, their arrogance burning hotter with every passing hour. They believed the first strike would break humanity completely. They believed one battle would be enough to erase the strange calm of Earth. But the humans remembered. They remembered wars older than the stars. They remembered battles when their own planet shook under fire. They remembered enemies who thought the same way, who believed humanity was weak, and who all fell in the end. The aliens did not know this history. They did not know the blood that still lived in human memory, and so the fleets of the invaders spread wide across the dark. They filled the skies above colonies. They hovered near the edge of Earth itself. They made their final demand: surrender or be destroyed. The galaxy held its breath. Every race, every nation, every world waited for the answer. And then the humans spoke. Not with fear, not with panic. Their voices came steady, clear, sharp as steel. They said, "You ask for war. You will have it." The words traveled across the stars like thunder. The aliens laughed at them, thinking it was only a bluff, thinking humanity had no strength left. But in the silence that followed, in the calm that stretched longer than it should have, there was something else: a weight, a shadow, a warning. The galaxy realized it was no bluff, because behind that simple answer was something hidden, something old, something terrible that humanity had kept secret during the long years of peace. Something the aliens were about to awaken. And the suspense grew sharper. The first clash was coming, the waiting was almost over. The words had been spoken, and they could not be taken back. Humanity had promised war, and the galaxy trembled at the sound of it. Yet many still did not believe. They asked themselves, what weapons could humans possibly hold after 3,000 years of peace? What armies could they summon when the drums of battle had been silent for so long? The answer seemed impossible. And still the humans stood tall, silent and sure. The truth lay hidden in the bones of their history. Humanity had never been a gentle race. They were shaped in the fires of conflict, carved by centuries of blood and struggle. On Earth itself, long before they reached the stars, humans had fought wars that nearly destroyed their own world. They had faced famine, plague, storms, and still they had survived. War was not new to them. War was their oldest companion. When peace finally came, it was not because humans had grown weak. It was because they had grown strong enough to end every fight, strong enough to silence every threat. But humans are strange in their nature. Even in times of calm, they prepare for storms. Even when they dream of peace, they build for war. Beneath the shining cities of Earth, in the hidden vaults of the colonies, in the black depths of space, humanity built weapons that no eye had seen for 3,000 years. They called them guardians, but they were machines of destruction. They called them shields, but they were cannons large enough to break apart planets. They called them fleets of peace, but they were ships designed to burn through the strongest of armadas. The aliens did not know this. They looked at Earth and saw only a quiet world. They looked at human colonies and saw only farmers, traders, scholars, and dreamers. They did not see the hidden hangars buried deep in the crust of moons. They did not see the silent shipyards drifting in empty sectors, cloaked and forgotten by time. They did not see the fire that waited, chained and patient for the day when peace would end. And now, that day had come. The leaders of humanity moved in silence. They gave no speeches, no shouts, no calls of glory. They simply unlocked the vaults. Across the colonies, deep alarms that had not sounded for 3,000 years began to sing once more. Hidden doors opened. Silent stations came alive. Old codes, older than any living person, were spoken again. One by one, the guardians of humanity awakened. The galaxy did not yet see it. They only heard strange whispers. Rumors that massive objects were moving in the black. Rumors that entire sectors were darkened as if something vast blocked the stars. Some called them lies. Others laughed at them. But the truth could not be hidden for long. In the quiet of deep space, a fleet moved. Ships of strange design, sharp and cold, without the bright banners of peace. Their hulls were black, their engines silent. They carried weapons that had been kept secret for 3 millennia. They were not new. They were not young. They were ancient machines built by hands long turned to dust but maintained and guarded through every century of peace. The humans called them the Watchers. The galaxy would soon call them nightmares. The first glimpse of them spread fear. A single alien scout ship found itself drifting into a dark sector near a dead star. It sent out a message, laughter in its voice, mocking the silence. But then the silence broke. Out of the void something vast moved, a shadow larger than mountains. A ship unlike any the galaxy had seen. The scout had only a moment to send its final cry before it vanished in a storm of fire. That cry was enough. The galaxy knew the rumors were true. Humanity had not been idle. Humanity had not forgotten. They had been waiting. The aliens mocked no longer. Their voices grew sharper. Their words filled with anger to hide the first spark of fear. They called humanity reckless, dangerous, a threat to all. But behind their anger was doubt. What else had the humans hidden? What other monsters lay in their vaults, sleeping, waiting to awaken? And still humanity spoke little. They gave no threats. They gave no warnings. They simply prepared. Their silence was heavier than words, heavier than fire. The galaxy could feel it. Something terrible was coming. The peace of 3,000 years was dead, and what replaced it was not chaos, not weakness, not confusion. What replaced it was the steady, cold rise of a race that had always known how to fight. A race that had always known how to endure. A race that had always known how to win. The aliens had demanded war. Humanity was ready to give it. The silence could not last forever. The alien fleets had grown restless. Their commanders were tired of waiting for humanity to kneel. They wanted fire. They wanted fear. They wanted to see Earth burn. And so, without warning, they moved. The first attack came like a storm breaking through calm skies. Thousands of alien warships crossed into human space. Their weapons lit the dark like lightning. Entire planets shook as their cannons fired. The galaxy believed it was the end. This was the moment when humanity would finally fall. But then something unexpected happened. The alien fleet reached the outer colonies, ready to destroy them in a single strike. Yet the colonies were not helpless. From beneath the surface of barren moons, from deep caverns carved by forgotten hands, vast machines began to rise. The ground split open, dust and rock raining down as the first human warships lifted into the sky. They were massive, dark, and silent. Their hulls gleamed with hidden strength. Their engines whispered with controlled fire. They moved like predators long caged, now free once more. The alien commanders laughed when they saw them. To their eyes, the human ships looked old, even fragile compared to their own shining fleets. They did not know the truth. They did not see the layers of weapons hidden beneath the steel. They did not hear the codes that echoed through the ships, codes that had been prepared centuries ago, waiting only for this day. The battle began with fire. Alien cannons roared, tearing through space, striking the first line of human ships. The galaxy watched, certain that the humans would shatter. But when the light faded, the human ships still stood. Their shields, unseen by any eye until now, glowed faint blue, holding against the storm. And then, humanity answered. The first volley was not loud. It was not bright. It was sharp, precise, and deadly. From the black hulls of the Watchers came beams of white fire. They cut across the alien fleet like knives through glass. Dozens of alien warships fell silent in a single breath, their burning remains drifting in the dark. The galaxy gasped. This was not the strike of a weak race. This was the strike of a predator that had been waiting too long. The aliens pressed forward. They fired again and again, their numbers overwhelming. But the humans moved with cold precision. Their ships did not rush. They did not panic. They slid through the battlefield like shadows, striking only where it mattered. Each time they fired, another alien vessel turned to ash. Each time they moved, they escaped destruction by only inches, as if the battle itself bent to their will. The laughter of the alien commanders died quickly. They shouted now, not in arrogance but in anger and disbelief. How could this be? How could a race of peace fight with such skill? How could ships that had slept for 3,000 years burn with such fire? The answer was simple. Humanity had always prepared for this. They had trained in silence generation after generation. They had kept their warriors sharp even when there was no war to fight. Their ships, though hidden, had been maintained and rebuilt with every century. Peace had not been weakness. Peace had been the sharpening of the blade. The battle stretched on, fire against fire, steel against steel. Alien ships broke into pieces, their wreckage drifting like dying stars. Human warships pressed forward, cold and relentless. For every ship that fell, 3 more stood to take its place. The void became a graveyard of burning metal. The silence filled only with the sound of destruction. At last, the alien fleet began to break. Commanders who had once spoken with pride now begged for retreat. Their voices cracked with fear as the human warships closed in. The aliens had thought they would crush Earth in a single strike. Instead, they were the ones being crushed, and yet humanity did not celebrate. Their voices did not rise in joy. Their laughter did not return. They fought with silence, with steady hands, with eyes cold as the void. To them, this was not glory. This was only survival. This was only the answer to a demand that should never have been made. As the last of the alien ships fled into the dark, broken and humiliated, the galaxy realized something that filled them with dread. Humanity had shown only a glimpse of its power. If this was their first clash, what would the next battle bring? What other weapons still waited in their vaults, in their shipyards, in their hearts? The peace of 3,000 years had ended, and in its place stood something stronger, something colder, something the galaxy was not ready to face. The alien fleets had fled the first battle, their ships broken, their pride burned to ash. But the story did not end there. In truth, the fight had only begun. The galaxy now stared at humanity with new eyes. They no longer saw a quiet people softened by peace. They saw something far more dangerous. They saw a race that had hidden its teeth for 3,000 years. The aliens who demanded war did not accept defeat. Their leaders raged across the stars, their voices filled with fury. They promised to return with greater armies, with stronger fleets, with endless fire. They swore humanity would pay for its defiance, and perhaps in their anger they believed their own words. But deep inside, behind their threats, there was fear. Fear of what they had seen in that first clash. Fear of the silent war machines that had risen from human vaults. Fear of the cold calm in the eyes of their enemy. The galaxy whispered. If humanity had revealed only a fraction of its strength, what else remained hidden? How deep did their secrets run? The questions spread like fire, but no answers came. Humanity spoke little. Their leaders gave no speeches. Their soldiers offered no boasts. Their ships drifted in the void, silent, watchful, waiting. And then the truth began to surface. Across forgotten sectors, human stations that had slept for centuries began to awaken. From dead moons, weapons older than empires rose into the skies. In the cold dark beyond the colonies, vast fleets appeared where none had been before. Their hulls were black as night, their engines silent as shadows, their weapons burning with quiet power. These were not fleets for defense. These were fleets built for war on a scale the galaxy had never known. The aliens returned, bringing with them twice the numbers, thrice the fire, determined to crush humanity before the fire could spread. They came with confidence, with anger, with desperation. But they were not ready for what they faced. When the battle began, the void itself seemed to break apart. Human ships did not fight like others. They moved with precision, with unity, as if every vessel was part of one vast mind. Their weapons struck with perfect aim, cutting through enemy lines as though guided by fate itself. Entire squadrons of alien ships vanished in a single instant, their wreckage glowing like dying stars. And then, humanity showed its true power. From the depths of space, a shadow moved. It was not a ship. It was something larger, something older, something the galaxy had never seen. It stretched for miles, its surface covered in strange black steel, its engines glowing with silent light. The aliens saw it and felt terror claw at their hearts. This was no vessel of peace. This was a weapon built to end wars before they began. The humans called it Leviathan. Its first strike was not loud. It was not bright. It was quiet, almost calm. A single beam of white fire lanced across the void, cutting through the heart of the alien fleet. Dozens of ships vanished in the blink of an eye. The silence that followed was heavier than any roar. The aliens screamed in panic. Their fleets broke apart. They fired with everything they had, but their weapons glanced off the Leviathan's armor as if they were nothing more than sparks against stone. And all the while, the human fleets pressed forward cold and relentless, their weapons burning with quiet fury. The galaxy watched in horror. They had believed humanity weak. They had believed peace had erased their power. Now they saw the truth. Peace had not destroyed humanity's strength. It had preserved it. It had sharpened it. It had hidden it, waiting for the day when it would be needed. The aliens begged for retreat. They cried out for mercy. But humanity was silent. Their ships did not stop. Their weapons did not rest. For 3,000 years they had given peace. Now they gave war, and it was war without limit, war without hesitation, war that burned cold and bright across the stars. In the end, the alien fleet scattered, broken and humiliated. The galaxy was left in silence once more, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of fear. For now, every race knew the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not soft. Humanity was the storm that had been waiting in the dark, and somewhere deep in the void, the Leviathan drifted in silence, its eyes cold, its weapons ready, waiting for the next demand, waiting for the next enemy foolish enough to test the patience of mankind.